Hello everyone, welcome. This is Valers Gaming coming to you finally with another long form video. The Nintendo Switch 2 Direct is almost here. On Wednesday, April 2nd of 2025, we're finally going to get more information on the highly anticipated console from Nintendo. There have been a lot of rumors flying around on release date, features, and games that might appear during the Direct, so I figured I should just throw my name into the hat with some of my own predictions ahead of the Direct on this coming Wednesday. Be sure to let me know in the comments what your predictions are, and make sure to leave a like if you like what I'm doing here. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more from me. So I broke this down into different categories. So I have hardware, pricing, software, and then a final category of just kind of like some moonshots that I have on things that we probably won't see, but still just want to put them out there, just to see if anything lands. So, okay, first we're going to get into hardware. The C button has been a big thing, in the original video that Nintendo showing off the Switch 2, they rendered out this C button, but now we're starting to see it come up in a lot of promotional stuff. I like what people are saying about how they think it's going to be a way to cast to another screen, so you could have like a dual screen functionality. I don't think it's going to end up being something like that. I feel like a dedicated button for that seems a little weird. I'm hoping that this is tied to some kind of Nintendo social media feature, and then that C is going to represent whatever that is. I don't know what that's going to be, but it feels like it could be a good fit here, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Second on here, I think we're definitely going to see a deeper dive into this whole mouse functionality. We saw in the original video that you have the Joy-Cons like sliding along the screen like they're a mouse, and it really feels like this is something that could be something that the Switch, really takes advantage of with the Switch 2, having that functionality of being able to use a mouse cursor instead of having to always use analog sticks for certain games, could really open the door for some of these games that traditionally have had a cursor in the past, right? Like imagine Civilization, but now you could use a mouse. Or The Sims. It would be great if, EA comes out on stage and says that The Sims is coming to the Switch and you're going to be able to use this Joy-Con mouse feature. I don't really have The Sims in there as like a specific prediction, but I think it would be cool if they paired this with a game announcement of some kind that's traditionally been more cursor heavy, where we could use that mouse feature. And then finally, I'm really hoping for some kind of upgraded Street Pass feature, something like that. I think it's something that I really missed with the original Switch, going back even now, having a 3DS. It's something that I always enjoy. I went to Disney World back in October, and I carried around my 3DS with me while I was in the parks and got people to actually hit with street passes. And it's still this really cool community thing, just to kind of connect with people. And I think that there's a lot of awesome things that they were doing within games as well that I really didn't get to experience at the time because I lived in a really small town. But I think it would be really awesome if they were able to bring this in and kind of make this one of the Switch 2 only features that they were really showing off. So really hoping for that. Jumping into pricing, I think it has to be $399.99, $400 for the US market. I think anything above that is really going to be hard for people to deal with, right? Because you're already talking about something that's going to be underpowered compared to the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. And so I really think $400 is that sweet spot. So I'm not expecting anything higher there unless there's something with a better screen or something like that. But yeah, we're really assuming it's going to be around $400 there, at least for me. And then jumping into software, some of the games that I really want to see and then some of my predictions for different things. First and foremost, I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a launch title. I think this is going to come out day and date with the Switch, which kind of ties into when I think the Switch is going to come out. I think I've narrowed it down to 2 times. I think it's either going to be mid-June or mid-May. Mid-May doesn't really seem like it gives them a lot of time from announcement to pre-orders to then release, but we've heard so many rumors for so long about how they've been making Switch 2s all the time, right? Trying to make sure that they're ready for the demand so that we don't run into these problems with scalpers and everything. So I do think they are more prepared, but I'm leaning more towards mid-June. The only argument I've really seen for mid-May, like that May 15th, whatever it is date, is because of the fact that they have all these events, right, where people can go and see the Switch 2 in New York, LA, and then they have them overseas as well. And there's one gap of 2 weeks where they're not doing anything, and it's during that May 15th, like mid-May timeline, which is also the time that the San Francisco store is opening up for Nintendo. And so, I don't know. I really don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be in June. But whenever it is, Metroid Prime 4, I think, is going to be a day-and-date launch title for the Switch 2. Secondly, I think they're going to show off Mario Kart 9. We're going to have a whole deep dive on it. You know, we saw a little bit of it in the teaser for the Switch 2, but I think this is going to be a holiday title. It makes sense to really get through this first wave, right? And then as people are trying to get the system up front, they're going to be excited just because it's a new Switch. But then going into the holiday season, you really have to have this big game that's ready, so then that way it drives people to want to buy the next system. And I think Mario Kart would be the perfect one for them to use in this slot, because I don't think that a Zelda's ready. I don't think there's a 3D Mario that's ready probably just yet. And so it really makes sense to use this slot for a Mario Kart 9 to really get that buy-in during the holiday season. Next, I'm really hoping for a Fire Emblem announcement. I'm a really big Fire Emblem fan. I played through Three Houses twice, and I'm about to play through it again. I've been playing through Engage for the second time. First time I didn't even get through, I think, half of the game, and I'm working through it right now. And it's just a series that I've really enjoyed on the original Switch, and I think it's been long enough that we're probably due for at least an announcement on a new one. Hopefully one that's coming out either later this year or early next year, but really predicting that there's going to be some kind of Fire Emblem announcement here. Next, I do think we are going to get an announcement for a 3D Mario. I just don't think it's going to come out this year. It's been a while since Odyssey. I don't know what else that team has been working on, but it feels like it should be something that could be slotted for early next year. We'll just have to wait and see. I know that we have Pokemon coming out at the end of this year, and so that might be an argument for my Mario Kart 9, but I think having them both in there, right, like one in October, one in November, makes a lot of sense. Okay, next, slightly more of a moonshot, but I think also makes sense. I think Dragon Quest XII is probably going to get announced during this, and the reason I say that is because, for example, with Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remakes, they didn't show anything off until all of a sudden there was a Nintendo Direct, and then that's when they finally showed off gameplay. And I think Square and Nintendo have a really good relationship when it comes to the Dragon Quest franchise, and traditionally, they've always shown off things with Nintendo first, right? If you think back to the original Switch launch when they showed off things, they talked about Dragon Quest 12, Dragon Quest 11 and Dragon Quest 10. They talked about both of those during that time. So this is a spot where I really think it could be shown. Maybe nothing crazy, but we're due for this, and so I'd be really excited to see that because I've been enjoying Dragon Quest 11 and Dragon Quest 10 when I was playing the translated version. And then finally, I think that they're going to talk about Nintendo DS being added to Nintendo Switch Online. And this is where then that like C button argument really comes in, because I'm like, okay, maybe if they do the casting thing, right, where like you have your Switch and then you cast your TV and then you have the dual screen set up, so then the Switch is still in your hands and you can use that for the touchscreen functionality. I don't know. I think it's time. We're probably not going to end up getting this one. This probably should have been under the moonshots. I think it's more likely we ended up getting GameCube. But knowing Nintendo, it's going to be 2 years down the line before maybe we get GameCube. And then we're going to get 3 games for the first year after that. So this is more of a moonshot, but I think it would be awesome if they somehow added this in to help with the launch, right? These big things to kind of sell it in. Okay, lastly, getting into our moonshots. I think first of all, and I'm going to make a separate video on this, but I think it's time that we have achievements on a Nintendo platform. We have it on Xbox, we have trophies on PlayStation, you even have achievements on Steam. And I really think that it's something that's missing on the Switch. And like I said, I'm going to make a separate video on this, and so I'm really going to get into the details of why I think that this is important, but I could see it happening. But also it's a moonshot, so we're throwing that one out there. Second of all, an Animal Crossing tease. I don't think an Animal Crossing game is anywhere near ready. We're probably looking at 2027 for that kind of a game if I had to guess. But I think Animal Crossing has become such a big franchise associated with the Switch because of the success of New Horizons. So I could see them at least mentioning it there just to kind of raise up hype. But again, probably more of a moonshot just because of how far out it is. And then finally, I'm putting this out into the universe. I don't think it'll come true, but I really want it. Nintendogs on Nintendo Switch. The return of Nintendogs. I think it's the perfect pick up and play title. I think it was missing on the original Switch. I've gone back and played this one recently, and I think we could use a new entry. It's a space that people don't really make games in. And so if Nintendo could come back and kind of reintroduce this, I think it would do so well. But anyways, those are some of my predictions and my moonshots for this upcoming Direct. Again, let me know what you think down below, what you're really hoping to see out of this. I'm super excited for this event. I'm going to be pre-ordering as soon as it's available. And yeah, this is my first time doing kind of a long-form video in a while, so if you like this, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing and hearing me talk about these different things. I'll be giving a lot of Switch 2 content as we get closer to this, and then I'll be hopefully picking up one on day one, so we'll have a lot more to talk about. But again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later.